Hey everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where we come up with healthier versions of items that we all love to eat. So today, I haven't really done a lot of salads, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a couple of salads that are my favorite. Anything that includes like cranberries and walnuts or some kind of nuts. And so I found this on Pinterest. Of course, that's where I get all my great ideas. What a great recipe. Love goat cheese. I love everything that's in this salad. So we're going to work on that today. Now, I'm going to tell you nutritionally that you're getting a great amount of nutrition, but you might want to add a little bit of protein to this. This is not like just a meal in itself. It has a little bit of protein when it comes to the nuts and the cheese, but not enough to really sustain what most people really need to have for a meal. So super, super simple, just a few ingredients involved. It's only going to take me a couple minutes to throw it together. Now, I am making a half version today, a half of the recipe because I'm just making it for myself. I do have nutrition information to post below once I'm done, along with the recipe. So should be super simple to make, and I'll kind of tell you where I get everything as well, because I know sometimes that's kind of an issue as well. So we're going to start out with 2 ounces approximately of baby spinach. Love it. I love spinach, whether it's raw, whether it's cooked. It's one of those things I didn't like as a kid, but I love now. Other things that, I've learned to love as my palate has changed as I've gotten older: onions, mushrooms. Still don't like tomatoes. Yes, I know I'm weird, but that's just how it is. So I've got about 4 ounces of baby spinach, okay? And to that, I'm going to add about an eighth of a cup, which is also 2 tablespoons, right? Because most of us don't have an eighth of a cup measure. 2 tablespoons of dried cranberries. Love these. Super inexpensive as well. I added these to our protein bites a few weeks ago, some energy bites that I made with sugar-free white chocolate chips that were amazing. If you have not made it or seen the recipe, you need to go back in my feed and find that. You can also hop onto YouTube. All of my Facebook Lives, whether it's Q&A Wednesday or whether it's Meals with Melissa, are uploaded and put on my my channel on YouTube, along with some more stuff that's coming out really, really soon. Pretty excited about that. So I'm going to add that to my lettuce. I'm also going to add a fourth a cup of roasted cashews. Now, I love cashews. That's probably one of my favorite nut of all time. So we're gonna add a fourth of a cup. Like I said, this is a half batch. You can make a full batch and share it, or have some for the next day. But honestly, this is probably best fresh. So then, before I add the goat cheese, because that's the very, very last item, I'm actually gonna make the dressing. Now, I've changed the dressing just a little bit because the original dressing includes honey. And although it's a healthier version, because it's it's a natural version, it's not refined sugar, it's still sugar. And most people just don't understand that sugar spikes insulin, which prevents you from burning fat. So more on that later, but just so you know, we're going to use a little bit of liquid stevia to taste instead. So for our dressing, we're going to use an eighth of a cup or 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You really need to stay away from the vegetable oils, including canola, soybean, and peanut oil. They are not good for you. They're refined with chemicals, and the less refined, the better. So we're gonna use some olive oil. At my house, we use predominantly olive oil and coconut oil, but we also use a little bit of macadamia nut oil and avocado, depending on what we're doing, because they have a little bit different flavors. Okay, so to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon. I forgot to grab this. A tablespoon of lemon juice. So let me grab that. It is in my fridge, I promise. My fridge is pretty clean. It's not too bad. Now, it actually calls for freshly squeezed, but honestly, I just don't have that available to myself right now. And we have this in the fridge. I'm a big fan of using what we have. So I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of the lemon juice. Okay. There we go. I'm also going to add a half a tablespoon of poppy seeds. Now, for the cashews and the poppy seeds, I actually get those locally. We have a grocery store here called I can't even think today, called Winco, and they have a lot of these things in bulk, so I'm able to get as little or as much as I need without having to pay for a big container and then having it sit in my pantry. So I got them bulk at Winco. I'm going to use about a half a tablespoon in there, along with my lemon juice, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that liquid stevia to taste. It doesn't require as much. The original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon for this recipe of honey. I'm just going to squirt it and then taste it, because stevia, all of your sugar substitutes are going to be much, much stronger than any of the other product, and you kind of got to be aware of that and be careful. I'm not a big fan, if you've watched a lot of my recipes, I'm not a big fan of the powdered options for stevia, because a lot of them do contain other things like maltodextrin, which actually is a sugar, or erythritol, which my body does not care for. I immediately get bloated and feel gross, and I don't care for the flavor. I don't know. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of the liquid stevia, which is making it slightly sweet tasting. Stevia is my favorite because it does not spike blood sugar. And I like the liquid just because it makes it super, super easy to eat or to use, and I don't have to wait for it to dissolve. Okay, so I'm just gonna taste that just a little bit. Maybe just a smidgen more to kind of counterbalance the lemon juice. Okay, and then, okay, that tastes pretty good. Then before I put on the goat cheese, I'm gonna coat my salad with the dressing, right? So it's poppy seed, olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice, and some stevia for the honey. I'm just gonna put enough. You don't need to dump the whole thing in there. I'm just gonna put enough to coat the salad in there. I don't need the full amount. You know, and less is more. You know, you don't wanna oversaturate it and then have it taste, you know, just be too much. And sometimes just a little is just a lot better. Okay, so I know it's hard to see in my lovely bowl. I just don't have the right size glass bowl for this. Oh, perfect. Yeah, it just coats it, right? Okay, so to that, I'm going to add 1 ounce of goat cheese. Now, there's lots of options, right? You've got just plain goat cheese. I like that it crumbles really easy. It's kind of like feta. It tastes great. It's got a little bit of a tang to it, but they have different flavors. I actually chose to get the garlic and herb, because I love that kind of stuff. That's kind of my gig. You could get just plain flavored, or they do have options that have like a little bit of blueberry or cranberry topping onto it. But for this purpose, I really wanted to keep it low sugar. So I'm just gonna go with the regular one. It does have a little bit of carbs, but guys, if you're putting it in MyFitnessPal, you're gonna know if it fits your macros anyway. So hopefully I'm not having to tell you that as something brand new. But I'm gonna add that to my already mixed up salad. I'm just gonna spread it around, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Now, probably not your best option for a take with you, all totally ready prepared for a lunch, although I haven't tried that, so I don't know that for sure. But I don't necessarily want it sitting in that all day. But then again, I don't see how that could be a bad thing. It'll still taste fresh, and it'll still be really, really yummy. So hopefully that gives you a great idea. Now, next Saturday, I'm gonna give you a great option that's very, very similar, but we're gonna do something in a wrap. It's one of those great recipes my daughter's come up with. She's very creative and gives me great ideas all the time. So have an incredible weekend, you guys. Happy New Year. I hope that you have some amazing things planned. And I know I'm kind of not a big proponent of New Year's resolutions. I am, however, a huge fan of having goals and crushing them. So if you are working on a health goal this New Year's, you know what? You can do it. Just remember, guys, it has to be a lifestyle, not just a 3-month goal. And then, hey, I'm going to go back to eating beer and drinking beer and eating pizza, but I'm going to stay at where I was. It just doesn't work that way. So you guys can do it. These recipes, it's not hard to find healthy options. Just pay attention to what you're putting in your body, because you can either create health or cause disease by the foods that you eat. So until next weekend, that is Meals with Melissa. Have a great day.